This video is brought to you by my patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your generous support in funding this channel and keeping it up and running. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of GAVONY Township, the show where it's not about me and my decks, it is about you and your decks, whether you're a content creator that I'm collaborating with, whether you're someone that's won one of my giveaways on Facebook, Twitter, or Patreon, or whether you're someone that supports me on patreon.com/magicalhacker and gets a free monthly perk, whether that's a deck doctor, deck gameplay, or a deck tech. For today's episode, we've got a pretty sweet deck here submitted by Randall Dawson Graham. So he submitted a Doran the Siege Tower deck. And this deck's actually pretty interesting. I'm excited to play this out, and I'll talk more about this after we decide whether or not we're going to keep this hand. So we've got 4 lands in the hand. One of them is a Karoo land, which is almost like 5 mana in the opening hand. Yeah, I think this is keepable. We're going to keep this one. Yeah, so we're playing Doran the Siege Tower. What if I wipe all lands? Says RK, well, are you going to wipe all lands? That would not be kind. Also, this is not my deck. This deck, it was submitted to me by my by one of my patrons by the name of Randall Dawson Graham. All right, so I'm excited to play this deck. This is the Randall Dawson Graham's deck. Doran the Siege Tower, 3 mana for a legendary 0/5 Treefolk Shaman that says each creature assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. So basically, every time you see that first number, doesn't matter anymore. This is a 2-powered creature, not anymore. It's 3-powered. This is 5-powered. So you're kind of sometimes helping, sometimes hurting. Overall, just doing pretty good stuff. All right, so we're going to start off with this Terramorphic Expanse. And I think here I want to grab a white source. We don't actually have any white mana out there yet, so we do want to get that out as soon as possible. RK here says, God bless Randall. Yeah, so I'm excited to play this deck. This is very much themed on having high toughness creatures. I'm excited to play this out here for many reasons, one of which Randall Dawson Graham is such a cool patron of mine. I think, if I remember correctly, he was the very first patron to join in at the $20 tier. So that was a huge deal, and I really can't I can't say enough about how awesome he is, and I really appreciate him. He's been with me ever since then too, so it's been a really great, awesome ride with him, and I'm excited to have him on board. If you're interested in joining as well, patreon.com/magicalhacker. You can see all the details there. I'm not going to bore you with them here in this video. We're just going to focus on the gameplay. I think next turn here, we can start off by playing out the God Pharaoh's Faithful, and then get down the Golgari Rot Farm. Although, then again, we probably want to wait until we've already used a couple of our cards. Well, hold on a second. We drawn to 8, played on something that's 7, play that down, that goes down to 6, and then back up. Yeah, we can do this. We can go God Pharaoh's Faithful into the Golgari Rot Farm and then not have to worry about it anymore. I think that sounds pretty great. Let's see here. Peterburg will wipe lands. Alright, I'm not sure what's going on, but for right now, we're just going to be talking about why I think Doran is actually a pretty cool commander. Now, obviously, Doran would not have been eligible for the Blood Hall because it is quite a popular commander. Even now, it is still quite popular. So I did not want to play a Doran deck. However, I thought it was pretty interesting, the idea of playing a Toughness Matters deck. So you will see in here, there's 3 partners that could have been the commanders here for this deck alternatively. So you've got Sidar Kondo, which is a 4-drop that makes things with power 2 or less basically have flying on your turn, but it's also for your opponents. You can still block everything as though they didn't have that flying ability, but your opponents, you know, they have to have either a flying or reach creature to block them. So that's Sidar Kondo. Another one is Ikra Shadiki, 5 mana for a menace creature with 7 toughness that says whenever it or another creature deals combat damage to a player, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. So those 2 in tandem would be great partners for a toughness-based Abzan deck. Last partner that we've got in the deck is Timna, also a pretty popular commander, so couldn't be used in the Blood Hall. But it has the ability when you go to your second main phase, you can pay life where equal to the number of opponents that you've dealt damage to and draw that many cards. So So that's pretty interesting. You can do a lot of things here. HPB 1994 says, I don't think I've ever played against a YouTuber before. I came close to playing Jolt once, but someone joined before I could. Oh, man. I'd love to play against Jolt. I'd love to get in a game versus that guy. Such a funny guy. Such a funny guy. I actually built a deck long time ago. Krav and Regna was season, I believe, 11. Maybe season 9. I can't remember now. I think it was season 9, actually. But it was a black and white Aristocrats deck built kind of in honor of all the really cool stuff he does on his channel, Jolt539. And it was actually really good. I was surprised at how good the deck was. And I guess he's got some really good ideas about how to build the proper deck. I like the Cultivate. We can use that, kind of replace itself. I don't think we'll need to use the Beast Within. And I think the behind the scenes here is not going to be that great either. Although I guess technically we could get down our Commander right now. No, let's wait on that because we're not planning on attacking anytime soon. Let's just keep this up as a blocker. Get some more creatures out there, and then afterwards we'll do some stuff here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get down the plains, and then we'll go for that Cultivate. We're going to grab a swamp and a forest. Although I guess getting 2 more plains is probably better for us if we've got things that cost like double white or whatnot. Yeah, well, we can only grab 1 plains, so we'll grab just 1. And then after that, we'll grab a forest, or I'm sorry, a swamp since we've got a forest in the hand. And then we'll put the plains onto the battlefield tapped and put the swamp into the hand. Alright, so this is not too bad. Next turn, we're going to, yeah, no attackers for us. We're not going to attack with that 0-4. HPV says, yeah, they like him too. Alright, so one of the things I wanted to do when I was building my Abzan deck, I was thinking, you know, maybe I should do the Toughness Matters and use Shadiki and Sidar Kondo. I mean, a lot of people like to use Doran, but maybe it's better just to go for Shadiki and Sidar Kondo. You get a little bit of unblockability. You also get a little bit of, you know, making your opponents making it easier for them to attack each other, which is also nice. So you've got that unblockability, which is pretty cool. You also got some life gain, which is always nice, especially if you're having a lot of really big toughness creatures. They're getting in there since they're getting that unblockability thanks to Sidar Kondo. It's like a nice, perfect match made in heaven, and I felt like it provided a lot more benefit compared to Doran. The only thing that you didn't have was you couldn't use the 0-powered creatures. You had to use things that had power 1 or 2, so it kind of limited it down, but I think it was a lot more versatility by doing it that way. So yeah, when I saw that, I was like, man, that'd be such a cool deck. But then I realized, out of all the 3-colored or 2-colored possibilities for those partners from that commander set, the most popular one was Abzan. So when people say, I'm playing a partners deck, but it's not 4 colors, the first thing you'll think of is, oh, it's an Abzan deck. So I did want to do the same thing over and over. You probably have seen partners for Abzan so many times. I said, you know what? I'm going to put myself an additional restriction. I'm not going to be building Abzan partners. That's why I built the Teneb deck, which you can see if you want to go check it out on my channel. But for right now, we're not talking about my decks. We're talking about a Randall Dawson Graham's deck. And this is a pretty cool deck. I'm excited to play this one out. And right now, I think on our next turn, we're going to have 5 mana. We can hold up the Assassin's Trophy while we play out that behind the scenes. Not too bad. I think that should be pretty nice. It's another way that if we happen to find some way to generate infinite mana, behind the scenes could actually allow us to get enough damage in. I think the more important thing here, though, is the fact that it allows our creatures to get Skulk, which means they really can't be blocked by most creatures. This 3/3, I have a feeling, is not going to be going towards us since we've got a blocker that could just give it a nice old high five. So let's see who Nessian decides to attack. They decide to attack RK9. It's our first opponent, and they're playing Mogus, God of Slaughter, which is a 4-mana legendary enchantment 7/5 god with Indestructible that says, as long as your devotion to black and red is less than 7, Mogus isn't a creature, and at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Mogus deals 2 damage to that player unless they sacrifice a creature. So most of the time it's just going to be dealing 2 damage to you. We draw into an Undominable Ancients. That's going to be 10 damage potentially. I say from here, let's just play down a land that enters tapped, so it's going to be this Golgari Guildgate. Let's play that out there, and then we'll play out the Indomitable Ancients, and this is pretty good. This allows us to get that out, have another thing that we can attack with once we finally get down our Doran. And one of the nice things here, next turn we're going to have 6 mana. We can go Doran and the behind the scenes all in one turn, so we can attack with both of our creatures, potentially dealing 14 damage to somebody. That's a lot of damage. So, yeah, still no attackers here. We're just going to leave up that 0-4 as a blocker. No reason to try to attack for 0 damage. We're not trying to send no messages, even though this is faithful to the God Pharaoh. We're not trying to send any messages. We will get to gain 2 life here since we're going to be casting this black spell and this black spell. Again, unless we draw into something better. But I think for right now, those are going to be 2 cards that we can play out here. Rejoice and be glad, says Arcane 9. I guess they're playing out the God of Slaughter. Can't spell slaughter without laughter. I learned that one from, what is it? Batman, no, not Batman Begins. It's The Dark Knight Rises. It's one of those scenes where the Joker has a van on the side of it. Instead of saying laughter, he spray painted an S right before that and put slaughter. I feel like that's a real thing, right? I'm not just remembering something wrong. But anyways, yeah, Arcane 9 getting down their Moga's God of Slaughter here. So I'm wondering, what's this deck going to be? I think most likely it's going to be black-red group slug. So playing a lot of permanents and even non-permanents, really. Just any card that will make your opponents have to make bad choices and have to either lose life or sacrifice creatures, and just really, you're affecting all opponents all at the same time. You're just affecting everybody equally. It's like group hug, where you're helping everybody equally. But it's the opposite. Now you're hurting everybody equally. So a little bit hard to do politically. You really can't make allies when you're already telling everybody, I cannot be allied with you. My cards don't allow me to do that. So that's going to be a little bit tougher on Arcane 9. I think what's even tougher, though, here is that Peterbug36, our second opponent, is playing Child of Alara, 5 mana for a legendary 6/6 avatar with Trample that says when Child of Alara dies, destroy all non-land permanents. They can't be regenerated. So this is going to be pretty bad for us, since this cannot actually get rid of this commander, since this commander has indestructible. And it's also going to be tough for Peterbug36 because this actually has to physically die, cannot go back into the command zone immediately from the battlefield. So they've got to allow it to die first, and then either return it to their hand to recast it, or maybe exile it from the graveyard, reanimate it, stuff like that, in order to find a way to be able to get it out of that graveyard, because they do have to allow it to die. They could always play clones, clone the Child of Alara. The clone itself gets put into the graveyard because of the legend rule, and then you have the ability from Child of Alara destroying the commander, and then you can put it back into the command zone. So there's a couple of ways you could do Child of Alara. Again, I like Moorland Haunt. I mentioned this in a previous video, I think. It's a land that allows you to, it's a utility land where one of the abilities allows you to make a token, but in order to make that token, you have to exile a creature card from your own graveyard. So that's something that you can use in a Child of Alara deck as a land. It will not get blown up by the Child of Alara, and you can exile it from your graveyard to continue to put it back into the command zone. Alright, so Mogas of Slaughter here. We're going to not always yield to that, because there might be a time where we find a good time to respond to that. Right now, our 2 spot removal spells in the hand both are destroying spells, so not going to be great for us here. Taking off the restrictions for chat is good too, so you can swear, lol. Well, I do want to try to make, we're going to say okay. Not going to sacrifice none of these creatures. I do like having the chat be a little bit more open for anybody who wants to watch, no matter what their background is. Alright, so we're going to go ahead, and I think we're going to play out Doran here, starting off with that. Yeah, let's start off with Doran. And I think the question here is, are there any commanders out there that's really that scary? This final commander, I think, might be a big problem. The Skulk, though, will not work the way we want. Greater power. Yeah, so this Selvala could definitely be blocked by the Indomitable Ancients. That would require them to chump block that, but they would not lose a 10 damage. So, let's do this. Let's go ahead and go for the behind the scenes. And, yeah, let's go behind the scenes. Gonna pay a black, a white, and a green. And then we'll play out. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and gain 1 life. We'll always yield to that. I was thinking here, to use the behind the scenes to try to deal damage. I am a little bit afraid of this Selvala deck. I think out of all the decks, that one is the most likely to win out of nowhere. But I think here it's going to be okay. They can't really deal with a deck like this that's going to be dealing a lot of damage really quickly. So you know what? I think I'm still okay with this. If they decide to chump block with their commander on our 2/10, that's fine with me too. So we're going to go ahead and tap 3 mana here for our commander. And then we can go from here, go directly to attacks. Now, HPV 1994 does have 1 mana held open. They could have a Nature's Claim on the behind the scenes. But if they go for that, that's fine with us. That's going to allow our opponents, who are probably going to be doing a lot more in terms of damage, it's going to allow them to or a lot more in terms of enchantments, is going to allow them to keep those on the battlefield and also hit HPB 1994 for some damage here. All right, so we're going to go and attack for 14. Let's see if they decide to chump block that 10 damage. Attack with all these creatures over at HPB 1994. You might be wondering, why am I attacking this opponent so early on? This is turn 5. Why attack them for 14 damage? Well, their commander is Selvala, Heart of the Wilds, 3 mana for a legendary 2/3 Elf Scout that says whenever another creature enters the battlefield, its controller may draw a card if its power is greater than each other creature's power. That's not the important part, though. Here, the important part is they can pay a green and tap the commander to add X mana in any combination of colors, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So if they've got a pretty big creature, this can produce 4, 5, 6 mana. And while that that much mana is a problem on its own, it's also pretty easy to combo out. If they've got Staff of Domination, if they've got Sword of the Peruns, or Umbral Mantle, any one of those 3 cards allows them to generate infinite mana. And if they got that Staff of Domination, they can also draw their whole deck. And then with infinite mana and their whole deck, I'm sure they've got a way to win. The other 2, you need to have a way to use that mana, but I'm sure if you're generating infinite mana and you're in mono green, there's plenty of ways that you can use that mana. So either way, I am pretty afraid of this deck, and so I want to make sure that I can get rid of them early on. Now, they might not be playing the... mana barbs. Ouch. They might not be playing... I feel like that's a card I'd be interested in going for the Assassin's Trophy, because we don't want to take too much damage. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, though, this is actually not too bad. We can just tap 1 mana to play our Assassin's Trophy, taking only 1 damage from the mana barb. So yeah, we are seeing here that that group slug idea coming into fruition. Yeah, with HPB 1994, I am a little bit afraid of this deck. I feel like it is going to be kind of an issue, so I want to make sure that I can take it out as quickly as possible. Not only do they have the ability to do the combo. They might be playing the combo, they might not be, but either way, Selvala is still a pretty hard deck to beat because just generating a lot of mana means that you can play out some really big things. You can get out Eldrazi, you can do a whole lot of nastiness with the Selvala deck. So I'm looking to take out that deck as quickly as possible. So next turn, it looks like we'll be able to attack for 19, so that's gonna be only 5 damage away in terms of how much damage we can get around. Now, one cool thing here is we can use the Beast Within on Selvala, and that way we force in that damage. So we can also maybe use the behind the scenes afterwards and see if we can actually pump up our creatures to lethal. So we can activate this 1 time. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana next turn. So yeah, we can activate this 1 time and use the Assassin's Trophy. That's not too bad. Let me see here. This one, yeah, we would want to use it afterwards because we don't want to be able to have this be blocked by the Nessian Hornblade. Yeah, you know what? I feel like we attack them. They could just, chump block, but if they do that, they're not really saving themselves any damage. They're still pretty much in the same situation. Oh, you know what? Actually, with the mana barbs, this will actually change things up for us. So let me see here. If they use up all their mana, I'm not even sure. Let's just take a look to see how this turn plays out, and then we'll do our planning on our next turn. I think after this, though, I think Arcane9 would probably be the #1 target for us, because they are, again, as a group slug deck, trying to kill all of us simultaneously. So they're going to generate 3 mana here with the ability from Selvala. They're going to go ahead and tap some more of their lands, so they're going to take 3 damage so far, putting them down to 19. This can put them down to 18, so if we can attack with all of our creatures, that will kill them. Even without using the mana for the behind the scenes. So you know what? This is actually going to work out pretty well for us. We can attack there. And if Peterbug36 has some ways to keep HPB 1994 alive, I mean, that's fine. They say, specifically, remember telling myself to put life gain into this deck. I was afraid of the no quitting rules, so I sped things up. Alright, so let's see what happens here. See the Unwritten. They could get a lot of good cards here. They're going to be able to put a creature card onto the battlefield. They do not have that ferocious ability, so they're going to go ahead and go for the top 8 cards and put a free creature into play. They're going to put into play the Pathbreaker Ibex. That is the greatest powered creature on the board, but it's also a tide, so I don't think they get to draw a card off of that. This will not allow them to... this will not allow them to survive here our next turn. Now the question becomes, do we actually still want to attack? I think we do. I really do think we actually want to go for that. But maybe we split up the damage a little bit. Maybe we don't attack them for all 19. Alright, so yeah, we got the Mogus God of Slaughter here. We're going to say no again. We're going to keep all of our creatures out there. I think what we can do here is attack them for 14. Putting them down to 4 life is actually kind of a big deal. So we're going to say, okay, it depends if we draw into something that's pretty good here. What do we draw into? Just another land. Yeah, so we don't really need our mana all that much. So yeah, I think what we'll go for here is we will go ahead and go to the attack. And we will attack HPB 1994 for, I guess, 14 damage from these 2 creatures. And then we can attack with the 5 damage over at RK9. I think that's worth it. I mean, currently Peterbug 36 has a lot of... You know what, actually, maybe we want to deal damage to them. Maybe they're the ones that we actually want to hit here. You know what, let's go for that. We're attack everything over at Peterbug 36. And the reason I think that's important is, yes, they could have some ways to respond here. They could go for that. If they want to, that's fine. But I think by doing that, we can kind of double up with this group slug deck. Keep putting the pressure on all of our opponents simultaneously. So next turn, for example, we could split up our attacks. One at Peterbug 36, one at HPB 1994. Or we could kill either one, whichever one is the bigger threat here. I think let's go for the Overgrown Tomb. I don't think we'll need all that mana for the behind the scenes and these other cards. So let's just, let's just play it on the tapped land so we don't have to take 2 more life. We will say, no. Yeah, no. Not paying the 2 life here. Alright, so that's it for us. We're just going to kind of yield here. We do have 2 instants in the hand that we can use. I have a feeling we're going to use one of them on the mana barbs. And after that, we'll see if there's anything else that we would like to shut off. Maybe with a Beast Within or something. I guess also, there's also the possibility of just paying an additional life to Beast Within the mana barbs so that we can use the Assassin's Trophy on someone else that maybe we want to not have them gain an additional creature. That could also be a possibility here. I have a feeling, though, on our next turn, Peterbug 36 is probably going to get down their commander. Now, thankfully, we do have that behind the scenes, which means that all of our creatures can get around that. Now, what's really nice is RK9 will also have mana barbs. They've got the Abyss here, so this seems like a great target for us to use on our Beast Within or something along those lines. And the Assassin's Trophy, obviously. I think all those are pretty good, too. We're going to always yield to the mana barbs just because I don't think we're going to ever respond to it. Not that I can think of, at least. So yeah, the Abyss here is going to come down. So now what's going to happen is each opponent's going to have to start, destroying creatures that they control of their choice. So in other words, it's kind of like a sacrifice ability. We can use the Abyss here at the end step of HP 1994. We can go, let's say, the Assassin's Trophy on the mana barbs and then Beast Within on the Abyss. Get rid of both of those pretty big targets, I would say, and then see what else happens for us. Alright, so one of the nice things here, again, with that splitting up of abilities, if we keep that mana barbs around, that actually might not be too bad. We keep that mana barbs around, that kind of puts both of our opponents dead as a result of us attacking with both of our creatures. I kind of like that idea. I think that sounds pretty nice. So let's see what happens here from Mogus and the Abyss, see what's going on. And we'll just keep yielding. Now, I used to have yield set up. I had to reinstall MTGO for this game specifically. For whatever reason, starting a new game, joining a game, or even just watching a game would make Magic Online just automatically crash for me. So, had to reinstall it. But with that comes all the things have to be reset. So, all the numbers, everything is reset. So, I have to go back and redo that. I just totally forgot about that. I was trying to use my yields, and I was wondering why they weren't working. Obviously, that's why. Alright, so I like the mana barbs too. The barbs are okay. We'll put a little smiley face. Make it a little nicer. Alright, so they're going to gain 1 life, and then the mana barb is going to make them lose that life right away. So they're going to go ahead and tap quite a number of mana here. What do they have to use that mana on? What are they using that on? So again, we do want to make sure we get rid of the Abyss. Otherwise, we are going to lose one of our creatures, and we do not want to do that. So at the very least, the Abyss is going to be an important card to get rid of. I feel like using a Beast Within on it is probably going to be better than the Assassin's Trophy. Because we can hold the Assassin's Trophy for later on when we... The hacker has spoken. Sorry, doing a lot of real speaking right here. We'll say okay. Sorry, doing a lot of verbal speaking. Alright, so the Reclamation Stage is going to come down. I have a feeling this is going to get rid of the mana barbs. So let's see what happens here. They can get rid of any card that they want. And this is going to work out pretty well for us because we don't have to use our spot removal to get rid of whatever we decide to target. Alright, so Reclamation Sage, Selvala, Heart of the Wilds here. We're just going to keep yielding here, and I think this is going to work out pretty great. We're not doing too bad. Obviously, we've got 38 life, which is the highest life total here. Of course, I thought you might have closed the chat. Chat is very important for me. So Reclamation Sage here is going to destroy the Abyss. So this is actually going to be pretty nice for us. We don't have to worry about creatures being destroyed. And I guess Peterbug36 might be doing this to help us out. We do already have an answer. Should have hit the bar, says RK9. I like talking to awesome people like you all. Awesome people like you all. Put a little smiley face there too. I like smiley faces. You know, I showed my wife a video by Bob Ross. She had never seen Bob Ross before. And I was talking about how I think Bob Ross is a genius in terms of an entertainer. He's got a very solid idea of what it means to give an audience a very entertaining show to watch. All right, so RK9 says, now my field is wide open. All right, so let's see what happens now. They've got no creatures. We've got the ability to deal 19 damage to them as well. So dealing 19 damage to them would put them down to, what is that, 13. So putting them to 13, they've got 5 lands out there. Mana Barbs could actually work to kill them as well, which is pretty nice. We can keep our life total nice and high with that 38 life total here. And eventually we're also going to start gaining some life also from the God Pharaoh's Faithful. For example, this Assassin's Trophy, and I'm sure we'll draw into more cards too. I like having creatures. I can get around barbs. Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, if you can kill the player, you can kill the permanent, which is pretty nice. RK9, I think, might need some more Pillow Fort because, again, playing a group slug deck, you're going to get a lot of aggro facing yourself. So, black and red, not super great in terms of ways to deal with creatures attacking you, but there are a couple that I like personally for Pillow Fort in those colors. So, Stuffy Doll, Creepy Doll. There's, if you've got enough artifacts, also Phylactery Lich could technically work if you can generate that 3 black mana. There's also Darksteel Mirror. There's Maze of It is another great Pillow Fort option. There is the, what's that card that Dread is basically on legs? No Mercy. There's No Mercy as well. So there's a couple of cards that you can use in a deck like this just to prevent damage being dealt to you and kind of get around that. Alright, so they're going to go ahead and attack us with the Pathbreaker Ibex. So they're going to deal an additional 3 here from each of their creatures. Let me think about this here. Do I actually want to do this? We would be taking... Let me see. We'll be taking 6 plus 6, that's 12. We go down to 26. Or we take the 2 damage and get rid of it. You know what? I feel like this is fine. We take the 12 damage. And we can take out HPB 1994 after this attack. So it might not affect us all too much. So let me see here. We attack them for 14. They don't have any creatures that they can block with. Even when this goes down, I mean, technically, this is normally a 1-4. We've got no blockers, so we'll just take the 12 damage here. What we can do is we can use our Assassin's Trophy on the Karametra's Acolyte, and that way they have no blockers. Of course, they will get an additional land, but that doesn't matter all that much for us. So we get rid of that blocker, we deal 14 damage to them, and then we can deal 5 damage to Peterbug36. And that puts them down to 8, so that might, kill them with that Mana Barbs. Yeah, I say this is going to be fine for us here. We'll go ahead and go to our next turn. Again, I could be using the, we'll go ahead and say, okay, we're not going to be able to actually getting rid of things here. I do think it's important for us to wait and see if we actually do want to get rid of that Karametra's Acolyte. I guess what we could do, we'll say, okay, I guess what we could do is we can attack them for 9. Hold on a second. We can attack them for 9. We attack them for 9, and then that puts them down to 5. I mean, they're pretty much dead after that anyways, right? They're pretty much dead. And then we can attack with that 2-10. Can it be blocked by the Reclamation Sage? Yeah, it can be. So they've got that as a blocker available here. We can attack over at RK9 for 10 damage, and then the rest over at HPB 1994. That sounds pretty good. It will not kill them before their next turn, so we can take more damage at that point. So, you know what? The more I think about it, the more I like the idea of going for the Assassin's Trophy here. and choosing to hit HPB 1994. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that Karametra's Acolyte. And we've got to do it this way. Actually, hold on a second. If I press cancel here, if I decide to attack them with all of our creatures, again, that would also kill them. Oh, no, it would not. It would not. Because they could just block the 210. Yeah, never mind. We gotta go for it this way. Choosing to hit the Karametra's Acolyte here. We're going to go ahead and use the Golgari Rot Farm. We'll pay the 2 mana that way. We're only taking 1 damage from the mana barbs, which is pretty nice, honestly. I think that's going to be pretty cool for us. On our next turn here, I think I like the idea of playing down the Orzhov Basilica, returning that Swamp to the hand. Since we've got already plenty of black mana. We do need to have that white mana available, though. So, Assassin's Trophy. We'll also gain 1 life here, going up to 24. So, earning back that life we lost from the mana barbs. Alright, so they're going to go ahead and get to find a land here. I think we're going to go ahead and attack with these 2 creatures to deal 14 damage to HPB 1984. And then we'll attack for 5 more commander damage over at Peterbug 36. Not that commander damage will really matter, but if they start gaining life, that could be a way for us to win. So, RK9 says cold. Hey man, I think I have a feeling you want to attack me again for 12. So I have no choice. All right, so let's go ahead and attack for. Let's go ahead and play down the Orzhov Basilica. I think. We'll play that down, and that will return a land that we control to our hand. Again, we want to return a basic here, just so that we have an ability. I mean, we've been drawing a lot of lands for this game. So I guess with a a mana dump like this, I guess it's not too bad. We can start playing, activating this ability 2 or 3 times per turn. I guess it's better than nothing. Alright, so let's go and begin the combat. We're going to attack with the 2 white creatures over at HPB 1994, and then we'll attack with a gold creature over at Peterbug. So attack this at Peterbug, this at HPB 1994, and let's see if they've got a way to deal with one of those creatures with their green mana. Green mana does have stuff that allows them to fight. I'm not sure if that will actually help them, because they need to fight twice in order to kill either one of these 2 creatures. RK9 says GG, and so does HPB 1994. We will say GG to them as well, and let them know if they want to find our YouTube channel. They can do that over in that at that link or at that search term. All right, so this is gonna be 14 damage to them. That's gonna be enough to kill them. This does have the downside now of making our opponents think of us as a little bit more threatening. We can attack with that 210 over at Peterbug 36 if we can get rid of the Reclamation Sage on our next turn. So we will see if that's going to be a possibility for us. Still up at 24, so not the highest life total anymore. RK9 is now at the highest life total. But on our next turn, we can use the Beast Within, get rid of the Mana Barbs, and really not have to worry about that anymore. Will this one be on YouTube? Yes, it will. And so we're going to go ahead and let me think about this here. Next turn, we can deal, again, 19 damage. You know, I have a feeling one of these opponents is going to find a board wipe here pretty soon. And then from that point, oh yeah, here it is, Nevinyrral's Disc. Alright, so that's going to be a card. We'll definitely want to use the Beast Within on that. Although, it's not something I like having to use instead of on the Mana Barbs. I think it's important, otherwise our whole board is going to go away. So we really want to have the Nevinyrral's Disc off the battlefield here at our end step by the latest. So let me think about this. 19 damage to them, that's going to put them down to 11. I don't think there's going to be much else that we can use that will allow us to kill them from there. We can put them down to 8 by activating the behind the scenes one time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're not going to have enough damage to go, or not enough mana to go for this twice. We'll only have enough mana to go for it once. Yeah, I think we will use the Beast Within on the Nevinyrral's Disc. Keep that off the battlefield as much as possible. Looks like they're going to take 2 more damage here, maybe just 1 more. They're going to use the Evolving Wilds and grab a tapped land. So they're going to go down to 27 here. 27, again, minus 19. We can even say minus 22. That's 5 life. You know, 5 life is, very low life total. With their Mana Barbs out there, that could technically kill them. They've got that Nevinyrral's Disc as a way to destroy it, though. So, I mean, putting it down to 4, though, I guess that's okay. I don't know exactly how I want to do this. RK9 says, haha, my pillow fort is losing feathers. I think we are going to go for that Beast Within on the Nevinyrral's Disc and just try to deal as much damage to them as we can. Peterbug 36 being out there is also kind of a bit of a problem because that Mogus combined with their commander allows them to sacrifice that and blow up the board. So, I don't know really here. If they decide to go for their commander, we really don't have an option here. We've got to kill Peterbug 36. Otherwise, we just lose our board state. And we have to get rid of the Nevernor's Disc with the Beast Within. But at least that gives us a kind of a little bit of a clock. So I'd probably do it this way, where I would attack with the 210 over at RK9, deal 10 damage to them, and attack Peterbug for 9. I guess it also matters how much of their mana they're going to use here. If they use up 5 mana to play out their commander, we only need to attack them with their 0-4. They're going to gain 1 life, going up to 9. So again, they would be casting their commander going down to 4 life here instead. So that would be enough for us to deal 15 damage to RK9, putting them down to 12. And after having gotten rid of the Nevinral's Disc, that could be helpful for us. We might be finding here a win pretty early on with the Doran combo with the behind the scenes. Kind of interesting here that even being mana flooded the way that we were, we still just happen to have the spot removal to allow us to get in there, deal some damage, and win the game pretty quickly. I think we've done the majority of the damage here, although I don't think I could have done this without the help of Mana Barbs. Mana Barbs has really been a huge help to me, especially with that great flavor text. I don't know why people say a double-edged sword is bad. It's a sword with 2 edges. Classic Kamal quote. I do like that. Okay, what's going to be here? This looks like a board wipe mana, which is going to be kind of a downside here for us. But I guess the benefit here is we do get to keep the Beast Within, which is kind of cool. So let's see what happens here. What's going to be the usage of this mana? Again, 6 mana, including 3 white. That usually sounds like a planar cleansing or something. Ooh, Consecrated Sphinx. That's fine for us. If they draw more cards, I'm actually okay with that. I'm trying to think if I actually want to go for the Beast Within right now, or if I want to wait until our next turn. I think I do want to wait, because we might find something else better. Yeah, let's wait here, because I think it's going to be better to use that Beast Within at a better moment. Especially if we can use some of our lands that produce 2 mana to cast that out. That's probably going to be even better for us, so I think that'd be better than using like 3 mana. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and have the Mogus trigger on the stack. So here, it looks like they're probably going to be sacrificing that Consecrated Sphinx anyways. Let's see what happens here. They're at 3 damage, or 3 mana. Mogus, with their Mana Barbs, I don't see them really having a way to survive here, unless they can find like a 2-drop way to gain a bunch of life, or a 2-drop way to get rid of Mana Barbs, but they are playing 5 colors, so I guess that's totally an option. No, I'm just going to go ahead and attack everything at RK9. The Consecrated Sphinx here, drawing a card is fine too. Let's see how we want to go for this. I think if we have to go for the Beast Within here at the end step. That will allow them to have a 3/3 to attack with. I mean, it could be worse. Alright, so we draw into another land, which is sweet. I think we do want to go for that Beast Within. Do we want to pay the extra mana to attack and deal more damage? Let me see here. That's 19 damage. We can go up to 22, putting them down to 5 as opposed to 7. I feel like with 7, they have a lot more mana to work with compared to 5. It will require us to lose at least, let me see here. We use 3 mana here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll be losing 4 mana in addition to the 2 mana that we're losing for the Beast Within. You know what? I think it's worth it here. It's a little bit of a downside, but I think we should go for it. Let's play down the Bayou first here. And I think we've got enough mana to go for everything we need. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for it. Beast Within, targeting the Nevinral's Disc. And we'll go ahead and use 1, 2. And let's use the Overgrown Tomb. We'll leave up all that mana that's being used for the behind the scenes. Yeah, so with this here, we can deal a lot of damage to them. I don't think they're going to kill themselves, but they will be kind of stuck in terms of what they can do. And I think also Peterbug 36, with that commander out there, they're going to be stuck into sacrificing the Consecrated Sphinx, so we don't have to worry about getting attacked that way. The 3/3 attacking us, though, that's definitely an issue. Alright, so Beast Within going to go ahead and get rid of the Nevinral's Disc. Don't have to worry about that anymore. So, again, you can see why a Boom Pow would be a little bit better in this situation than that card. Let's go ahead and begin the combat. And I want to make sure I'm using the behind the scenes here at the right time. So I have to wait until after the blocks. So we're going to attack with all creatures over at RK9. And then we're going to see, we're attacking, and then we're going to see them decide whether or not they want to block. This should work out pretty well for us. We're allowing Peterbug 36 to survive until their next turn, but again, that Mogus combined with the Mana Barbs, I just don't see them being able to do a whole lot on their turn. So they've already declared their blockers. We're going to go and use the behind the scenes, paying 1, 2, and then we've got to pay 3 more mana. So let's go ahead and use 1, 1, 2, and then let's leave up 1 plains. I feel like having a Swords to Plowshares held up is going to be a little bit more reasonable here. So Mana Barbs is going to go ahead and trigger. We'll give an additional +1/+1 to all of our creatures. We are going to go down to 16 here. With that 3 attacking us, that's 13 damage left on the clock for us in order to try to win after that point. But having an opponent at 3, another opponent at 5, and a Mana Barbs on the table, I'm okay being at 13 life. Even if they decide to attack us with that 4, we'll only be at 9 life. That's still totally reasonable. Alright, so let's see what Arcanine is. They're down to 5. Peterbug is down to 3, so this might be wrapping it up here. Randall Dawson Graham's Doran the Siege Tower deck kind of working out in our favor here, allowing us to do a lot of really cool stuff. Consecrated Sphinx, they're going to draw 2 additional cards. Let's say worst case scenario, they happen to draw into a board wipe that allows them to board wipe the entire board. It's got to be a way that they can destroy the whole board for 3 mana or less, and that will not work. Will there be another game after this, or y'all done for the night? Yeah, I might be down, but not a recorded game. Not a recorded game. We're going to go ahead and have the Consecrated Sphinx. They're going to go ahead and draw 2 additional cards. Let's see what Arcanine decides to go for. Let's see what they have up their sleeve. They've got, this has been a really cool game. I actually am going to add all of these opponents as buddies because they've all been really nice here. HPB 1994. And last opponent here is Arcanine. And Peterbug I already added. I'm going to add them all as buddies. I added you all as buddies. Arcanine here says GG. Looks like they might be hitting themselves here to death. Realizing that they have no other options. I was kind of hoping they wouldn't go for that. That would allow Peterbug 36 to be forced into either, you know, they might not be able to get around our situation here, and they would probably die. Let's see if, yeah, it looks like Mana Barbs, they're going to go for the old Seppuku, trying to deal enough damage to themselves to kill them, and that is going to work for us. If we happen to have that Swords to Plowshares, it'd be so funny for us to go for the Swords to Plowshares in response, targeting their beast on like the first trigger there. So they're going to go ahead and they're going to die. Going to go ahead and go to Peterbug. I will be playing with a new deck. I will be playing with a new deck. So let's see what Peterbug 36 decides to do here. They're at 3 life. We've got 3 creatures out there. Technically, we can replay our commander and eventually get in there. They've got to find a way to deal with that behind the scenes and at least 2 of our creatures. That would give them an answer. We're hoping that we can find some way to draw into some non-lands here. I don't think we've drawn into a single non-land this whole game. Actually, no, we have drawn into Cultivate, and I think we drew into the Indomitable Ancients. But that's crazy in 8 turns to only draw 2 non-lands. HPB 1994 says, I'm sticking with this one. I'm hurt that it drew the way it did this game. I'm going to be excited to show off my hand. Just wait till the end. I want to show you my hand. I'm really excited to show them my hand because it's 4 lands here. Amulet of Vigor, this allows them to have things enter the battlefield untapped. So if they also have a Never Know's Disc, this will allow them to go for it right away. Let's see if they have that. Let's see if that's what they've got in their hand. They can attack us for 4. We are at 16, but they are at 3, so they're kind of on the back foot here. They're backpedaling. Let's see if they find a way to look a way to stabilize. That's the word. Let's see if they find a way to stabilize here. We're hoping that we can manage to get in there. They can play out their commander. If they play out their commander and a way to kill it or a sacrifice outlet or something, that'd be a problem. I mean, we would lose our whole board here. I think we still might win the game anyways, just playing out our commander one more time and then going for the attack after that. But not having that behind the scenes is going to be kind of a problem. Alright, Chromanticore. It's going to give lifelink to their creature. Let's see here. This is now an 8-10. They're going to deal 10 damage and gain 10 life. That's putting them to 13. We've got 19 power on the board, so that's not going to be enough for them. They don't have a way to block here, so yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they had in mind here. Yeah, gain 10 life. That's fine. We're going to go down to 6. That's still going to put you at lethal range. They might say a GG here. We're going to go ahead and say GG and a well played. Getting ready for when they say the game is over. So yeah, here on our next turn, we're just going to go to our next turn. And I don't think we're going to go for that behind the scenes, although we technically could. They have that available here, but they're not going to be able to block on our creatures because we do have Skulk still. So they're going to deal damage to us. Yeah, it's a good final hit, says RK9. We're going to go ahead. They're at 13 life here, and it looks like for us, we should be able to win the game after this. So yeah, 19 life. We're going to add 6 to that, so that's up to 19 plus 6, that's 25. So even if they were at if they had exactly twice their life total, then they'd survive at 1 hit, and then we'd be in a problem. Let's go ahead and go to our turn here. What do we draw into? We draw into a Valiant Guard. They're going to go ahead and draw 2 cards off of this. Okay, this has flying, right? First strike, lifelink, trample, vigilance. Oh, it naturally has flying. That's right. All right, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to say let's play down the Sun Petal Grove. And let's go ahead and begin the combat. They're going to say GG. I'll say GG, well played as well. Let's attack with all the creatures. That should wrap up the game. Yeah, this behind the scenes really pulled through here. Allowed us to get around a lot of blockers. Turns out when you have 0-powered creatures, this basically means that they're unblockable. And an enchantment that allows your creatures to be unblockable, that's pretty good. That is definitely pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and deal the final blow here. Not even going to activate the behind the scenes, just because I don't think we need to. And I just want to end this game here so I don't make my opponent feel too bad. And just kind of play with my food. That's never too polite. So we're going to go ahead and end the game. And then when the game ends, we're going to go ahead and reveal our hand so we can show that we had 3 lands in the hand here. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode of GAVONY Township. I had a lot of fun playing Randall Dawson Graham's Doran the Siege Tower Toughness-based deck. Even though we got mana flooded, we still managed to win the game, so I think that's pretty impressive. What do you think about this deck? What do you think about this game? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you next time in the next episode of GAVONY Township. Stay awesome, everybody.